vehicles often couldn't get through the clogged streets.
But all that traffic has city and county officials concerned.
Wow, Gary, it sounds like they had good reason to be concerned. I mean, you remember it. You said you were a freshman at Notre Dame?
I was. The storm, it started on a Wednesday, and then Notre Dame was closed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the following Monday, and reopened on Tuesday.
And look at these pictures. This was January 25th in Michiana.
Yeah, there were so many things. You know, there's just I think the memories from a lifestyle standpoint people remember, but from a meteorological standpoint, this was an unbelievable storm, and it is very much like the one that's rolling through the south right now. It's not going to produce, the one today is not going to produce as much as this one did in '78, but you had the same kind of setup where very, very cold air coming down out of Canada right off the pole, extremely cold Arctic air mixing in with a subtropical jet that was bringing a storm through the southern states and up through the panhandle of Texas, and it just looped up this way. But where those two jet streams came together, the polar jet and the subtropical jet, they what we call phased together. And in that phasing, it really created this extremely strong low pressure system. We're talking about winds, and we'll show you a graphic here in just a second, of a peak wind of 82 miles an hour. Imagine that much snow. Now, we had 41 inches of snow over 2 days' time. And for the season, we had more than 12 feet of snow that year, snowiest winter ever recorded in South Bend. The winds, sustained winds, were 35 to 45 miles an hour during the storm. And as I mentioned, that peak wind gust was 82 miles an hour. So you ended up with drifts that were 15 to 20 feet high. And they actually used Army half-tracks and basically tanks from the Armory in South Bend. They put snowplows on the front just to bust a one-lane path through what we now call State Road 933. It was US 31 at the time, just to get a path open for emergency traffic. And so everything shut down. People were stranded. There were people in my wife's family, her brother, my brother-in-law, who ended up staying at a stranger's house because he was stranded on the highway and made his way to somebody's house, and you couldn't go anywhere. So this was a devastating storm back in '78. And again, the one that's going through the south right now has a lot of those same characteristics of that cold air, the phasing of two jet streams, subtropical and polar, coming together and creating this deep area of low pressure, and it's sucking all of that moisture up off the Gulf of Mexico to feed into that storm.
Holy cow. So those photos we saw earlier, will it look a little like that down south?
Down south places will feel like what we did back then. And I think along the Ohio River, where they don't have as much equipment to get rid of that snow, places like Evansville and Cincinnati and right through that range, and especially you get out into eastern Pennsylvania and New England, some of those places are going to see a couple of feet of snow.
Man, well, watching that was a blast to the past for you. That was really cool.
Yeah, we apologize for the quality of it. All that stuff was shot on film, on 16 millimeter film, and was transferred over to tape later.
It's cool that we can get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, stay with us. We'll be right back with more news and weather after the break.